Hello, welcome back for another video on ARK Survival Ascended, and it's that time again where we check out a bunch of new creature mods that you can download today. So in this video I'll be fully showcasing 3 new creature mods that have been released in the last couple of months. All mods are free and can be played cross-platform, so without further ado let's get straight into it. Kicking things off, we have the Lutracampus from Amalgam Maniac Gaming. If you are a fan of shoulder pets, then the Lutracampus could be a great creature for you to try. It may look like an otter, but it is very different when it comes to its abilities. It will share spawns with the otter, so typically found in lakes and rivers depending on what map you are playing, and is also tamed the exact same way, where you have to kill and drag fish to it for hand feeding. Preferring saber-toothed salmon, and the larger the fish, the better the taming effectiveness. It does do most things an otter can do, minus being able to hold more than one of the same artifact in its own inventory, so sadly it cannot do that. It will give players an insulation buff similar to the otter, however it is a much greater amount of insulation when compared to the otter. As you can see, my cold resistance went up from 100 or so to almost 900, and this was without any levels pumped into melee damage. And just like the otter, it can be sent out to kill fish for a small chance of gathering silica pearls, and I'll also assume that they can gather the rarer black pearls. It hasn't given me any of those yet though. Combat is where the Lutracampus excels, believe it or not, especially for its small size. Sporting a hefty stack and bleed attack similar to the Deinonychus, so you can imagine can be quite the bodyguard to have on your shoulder. Adding to this, they also have their own pack buffs, which will go up to +8 in a pack, making them quite deadly, and very capable of taking down threats larger than themselves. Adding to this, they can be equipped with high quality helmets to give them some hefty armor protection, until it breaks of course. The Lutracampus when mating will also produce their own eggs, instead of gestating, and finally they will also drop a very unique resource known as sea bubbles. Not only can sea bubbles top off your water or stamina in time of need, but they can also grant you oxygen if you stray a bit too far from the surface of water. These bubbles do have a quick spoil timer, but you can place them inside a preserving bin to increase the spoil timer. The otter is one of my favourite shoulder pets in the game, so you can imagine I was super excited to see a creature like the Lutracampus pop up in the mods list, and I do highly recommend checking out this mod. Up next, we have a mod that I've been wanting to check out for a very long time now. This is the Paddletail Spino from Burt, which gives the Spinosaurus a fresh new appearance, animations, and abilities. I do actually love the appearance of the vanilla Spino, so looking at it from first glance, I must admit the sail does bother me a little, as it kind of looks like a shelf where I want to stack my DVDs, but minus that, I do love the look of the Paddletail Spino too. And let's be honest, in terms of utility, the Spino is in desperate need of a little buff. Anyway, you will find the Paddletail Spino spawning alongside the vanilla Spino, so mainly rivers and lakes will be the go-to spots to search for them. It will spawn rarely along the rivers on Scorched Earth, and also the Desert Oasis on Extinction. Sadly, it is not tamed as easily as the vanilla Spino, so it's highly recommended to find one in a good location, ideally lakes and rivers full of fish. Kill everything else in the area to avoid it aggroing to anything else, which is something I did not do when taming this one. Equip your character with a full ghillie set. Have yourself a nice stack of its preferred food, which is exceptional kibble. After splitting up the kibble into ones, throw down a piece of kibble from your inventory close to its jaws while it is fishing. This is the animational stance it will perform when fishing, which means it's your time to shine and throw down that kibble next to its face, which can be done on foot with the ghillie armor, or while riding a flyer above its head for it to chow down on. It does state in the mod description that the radius is fairly forgiving, so it's probably not a good idea to get too close to its mouth, and honestly this was surprisingly a lot easier than I thought it would be in my head. I'm pretty sure my taming rates were at 2 times at this point in time, so it did tame up a little quicker. Once tamed, you will have yourself a formidable battle mount that will finally contend with the mighty Tyrannosaurus Rex. Here are the stats of a perfectly tamed 150. It definitely seems like they have a lot more health than the vanilla Spino, and as the Paddletail does not have an oxygen stat, it will allow the distribution of points to go into more desirable stats. And it can also be saddled up at level 71, but does require a new engram to unlock, so it does have a new saddle, and I must admit it's looking rather nice, with a cheeky little sidecar-like seat for your survivor and also a friend in the passenger seat. That is if you're lucky enough to have friends, unlike me who has none. If you are looking for higher quality saddles, you can find them in red loot crates, with the exception of deep sea loot crates. So let's dive into its attacks and abilities. It does have a few attack animations for its bite attack, all dealing the same amount of damage, but it is a really nice touch to see a variety of different bite attacks, even though you are using the same attack key. A secondary slap attack, of course, that hits much harder than the regular bite and has a faster attack speed. While on the subject of the claw attack, you can enable the option option to gather fiber when accessing the Paddle Tail's radial menu, and it will take a page out of the Ferrozino's book, utilizing its claws and becoming a very efficient fiber gatherer, which definitely took me by surprise. It does have some very cool attack animations, also able to perform on the spot directional attacks too, which deal slightly more damage than the regular bite. It has the ability to pick up small creatures below a drag weight of 200. Both the gore and claw attacks semi-pierce armor, with the gore leaving the victim with a bleeding debuff. That's if it doesn't kill it, of course, as it does deal a serious amount of damage too. You definitely wouldn't want to get caught in this Spino's grasp, that's for sure. It does also have a tail swipe attack at its disposal, which deals slightly less damage than the regular bite, but dishes out some huge knockback. If you ever want something to get out of your face, then this is the attack you'll be wanting to use. I am honestly impressed with the wide range of attacks and different animations this Spino has. Speaking of animations, it wouldn't be right for the Spino not to have a spine-chilling roar to strike fear into its opponents now, would it? It definitely rivals the other theropods when it comes to the more intimidating roars. Moving on to a few of its special abilities, it has the option to toggle on thermal regulation. Once turned on, it will consume more food, but it will act as a portable air conditioner, kind of like the Dimetrodon, but honestly its food stat drops so quickly, it's probably not even worth it. I'd also like to point out that the Spino is a piscivore, so it will only eat fish meat and not regular meat, so something to keep in mind when using them. It does also have two passive abilities. When killing fish, it will increase its natural health and stamina regeneration rate. The Hydro buff is basically the same as the hydrated buff that the Spino gets when touching or submerging itself in water, where its movement speed and damage will increase. Moving on to the subject, let's talk about how good this thing is in water, and I really wish the vanilla Spino was this good in water. The Paddletail Spino is an absolute beast when it comes to water exploration. Unlike the vanilla Spino, it does not possess an oxygen stat and is an exceptional swimmer, probably 2 times quicker than the vanilla Spino. It is much more maneuverable in the water and can use its bite and directional bite attack, plus also has an added attack that is the tail spin attack. Similar to the Baryonyx, however, it does not stun creatures by the looks of it, but damn is it fun to use. The only downside to this Spino as opposed to the vanilla is that it cannot go into quadrupedal stance, so it does feel a little sluggish when traversing land. But to be honest, this is probably the most fun I've had when using any modded creature in a very long time. I cannot deny how satisfying the Paddletail Spino is to use. It is by far the best Spino mod that you can download today, and if I'm being honest, no other Spino mod even comes close to the quality of this one. So if you're a fan of the vanilla Spino, I highly recommend that you check out this version. You will not regret your decision. Coming in hot is the Flame Bear mod from Team Miroku. Not usually the type of mod that I would consider installing, however I do love the Dire Bear, so you wouldn't have to ask me twice to check this one out. You will find the Flame Bear spawning in the redwoods, snowy areas, volcanic areas like Lava Island on the center, the green zone on Aberration, and the canyons on Scorched Earth. They are tamed the exact same way as the vanilla Dire Bear, typical knockout methods, preferring either giant bee honey or superior kibble for the best taming effectiveness. They also use the same vanilla Dire Bear saddle unlocked at level 45. It will basically do everything a Dire Bear can do, but better. Attack damage does seem roughly around the same, however it does have a much larger health pool, probably more comparable to the health of a T-Rex. And of course, when pressing the crouch key, it has its own fire breath attack. Definitely does feel identical to the Fire Wyvern. It can briefly heal itself when using the breath attack, but can be spammed over and over again to heal itself relatively quickly at the cost of a nice chunk of stamina usage. I did also notice that it can heal allied creatures with this attack. It may take a while to do so, but I did think it was pretty cool. Admittedly, I do feel like the appearance could be improved on a little, but I do love that the flames will change color depending on the base color of the bear itself. I admittedly do have a massive soft spot for the Dire Bear. It is just one of my favorite creatures, and I've really enjoyed using the Flame Bear, so if you're anything like me, I highly recommend checking this one out too. And that is going to be the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care. Goodbye.